I greet us back again to our channel. In today's info session, we proudly present a university which ranked number 38 in the world and ranked number 10 in Asia, the Chinese University of Hong Kong, Shenzhen, and what we call it CUHK-Shenzhen. Today, we will be watching and listening the general presentation of CUHK-Shenzhen, and it is an honor of having with us this morning, Ms. Roxy, as the International Admission Manager of CUHK-Shenzhen, and also Ms. Rosemary as the International Admission Officer of CUHK-Shenzhen. Please welcome Ms. Roxy and Rosemary.
Hello.
Morning, morning. 你好,你们好.
你们好,你好.
Okay, very happy and honored to have you with us this morning. I think Roxy will start the PPT first, right? You can start the share screen, please.
Okay, is it full screen, right? This is full screen.
Perfect.
Great. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are watching this. Quick introduction, my name is Roxy. I work for the international admission team at the Chinese University of Hong Kong, Shenzhen. And thank you so much for watching this video and giving us the opportunity to showcase exactly what CUHK-Shenzhen is and how you'll be able to become one of us as an international student. So let's start. So the Chinese University of Hong Kong is, well, I don't think it's necessary to really give you an introduction about CUHK because it's a very reputable university, obviously. Joko just mentioned that it's a QS World ranking according to the 2023 ranking. It's ranked number 38 and in the same ranking in Asia, number 10th. So CUHK has a lot of unique kind of systems set up, and we kind of inherit that system to CUHK-Shenzhen campus. Among many of them, obviously the unique college system, the whole person development, or we call the whole person education. And obviously you're looking at a bilingual and multicultural kind of environment that you're going to study in. General education is also one of the highlights, but I'm going to get into the details a little bit later. So you'll be able to see two pictures here. On the left-hand side is the CUHK-Shenzhen campus, and on the right-hand side is the CUHK in Hong Kong. The relationship between these two campuses is what we call one brand, two campuses. This means that CUHK-Shenzhen inherit the exact same university management style, the same faculty recruitment standard, the same quality assurance system, even the same grading system and as well as and when our students graduate from us, they get a degree from CUHK. So the foundation of CUHK-Shenzhen is, when CUHK is trying to look for a location for a remote campus in the Chinese mainland, there are so many cities to choose from, but why Shenzhen? So obviously there's a lot of different reasons behind that, and one of the reasons is that there's an urgent need in the high-end talents in the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area. Not sure if you heard about this new Greater Bay Area concept, but it's very similar to the Bay Area concept in San Francisco, but instead of but it's actually located in China, in the southern China. That include in Guangdong, the entire Guangdong province, Hong Kong and Macau. And in this huge Bay Area, the center, the heart of the Bay Area is the city of Shenzhen. So obviously Shenzhen has an advantage when CUHK was trying to look for a location in the Chinese mainland. Obviously, there's many other reasons behind that. We'll get into that later. And these are some of the, if you have never really visited Shenzhen before, and I do, highly recommend you to find an opportunity to really, not necessarily to study with us, but at least to visit the city first. So the city of Shenzhen is what we call the China Silicon Valley. So back in 40-ish years ago, it is a very small fishing village with population probably 30,000-ish. But right now we're looking at a population a little bit over, over 13 million. And it's a very young city with average age is at 33 years old. And something that's really fascinating about Shenzhen is vast majority of the population is actually people coming from other part of China. So 95% of the populations are immigrants from somewhere else, including myself and actually Rosemary. The city is very green. It's a coastal city with a very long coastline. The city is very green. There's over 1,000 parks, and the city is 45% covered by greeneries, which is pretty impressive if you're considering this is a metropolis in China. Something that also worth mentioning is that if you look at the picture on the right-hand side, you see the very blue sky. This is a very common thing in Shenzhen, which is quite rare. I mean, like I personally lived in other places in China, and honestly, the air quality here is definitely beyond your expectation. Shenzhen is also a very well-developed metropolis. It's actually it's already the third largest city in China. We have already surpassed Guangzhou a couple of years ago, by the way. If you look at the GDP, this is a GDP number for 2020. We're going to have the number out very soon for 2021. But without any doubt, it's definitely one of the highest GDP growth rates in China among all the major cities. And something also worth mentioning is that we have already, I think it's back in 2017 or 2018, our GDP already has surpassed Hong Kong. So we're literally the third largest city in China, including Hong Kong and Macau. The city is what we call a high-tech center. Not only just the financial center, but also the high-tech center. We're looking at a lot of high-tech companies such as Huawei, which everyone definitely heard about, Tencent, the big social media icon, WeChat we use every day, and Tencent is the mother company of WeChat. BYD Auto is an automobile company that is really a pioneer in creating and competing with actually Tesla in electronic cars and vehicles. DJI is a very famous genetic research company. DJI is, well, one of you guys definitely have a drone out there to take pictures and do video shootings, and probably you're using DJI at the moment. So considering this kind of high-tech features that is, becomes one of the major character of the city, a lot of the GDPs were invested into research and development, into R&D. And also, on the other, beyond being the high-tech city, Shenzhen is also one of the top 10 financial centers in the world. To give you an example, there are 3 stock exchange centers in China. There's one in Shanghai, there's one in Hong Kong, and there's one, the other one is in Shenzhen. If you, maybe it's not a little bit beyond your knowledge, but actually the Shenzhen Stock Exchange is the the earliest stock exchange that is established among these 3 stock exchange centers. So just for your information. You see the next one. So now a little bit about CUHK. There's a lot of facets about CUHK-Shenzhen that is quite interesting and quite unique. And I put them all into this kind of little boxes here. I'm going to get into the details of each one of them. The first one is in the center, taught in English. So very obviously, all of our programs are all taught in English. This is beyond just undergraduate programs, but also at master's level and PhD level at the same time. English is the major teaching, learning, working, and living language on the campus. I mean, that doesn't mean that you're completely not exposing to any Chinese, obviously. It's a huge life outside of the campus as well, among the cities where you'd be able to, utilize your Chinese skills if you're a Chinese language, enthusiasts. And obviously, but however, having this kind of advantage with everything taught in English and worked in the English environment, it will be really prepared all of us, and not only just the students, but also the faculties and also the staff, the administrative staff, and everyone to really compete in a larger scale in a global stage. So if you have any kind of plans or interest in either studying abroad in the future or find a job in another country, this gives you a huge advantage point. On the top, this general education, like I just mentioned, we value something what we call whole person education. We are not just trying to make everyone super great at academically, but also we're trying to build person's characters. So general education is a huge part of that. The general education for all the students who actually takes an undergraduate program with us, you have to take at least four general education courses, including one in dialogue with the nature and in dialogue with humanities, and regardless whether you are a science students or a humanities students. On the right-hand side, the top side is do not choose a major in the first year. The reason we do that is because we want to give the students space and time to really find what they're really into or what is best for them. I mean, a lot of you guys were doing high school students, right? You probably are very busy with coursework and everything else in your life that you probably never had the time to sit down and think really carefully and in depth exactly what I want to do in the future. And you're not exactly sure, okay, what I want to learn in college, because 4 years is not long, but it's not short either. So there's a lot of time invested in just one subject. So we do not want you to choose a major in the first year. I'd rather you just choose the school. And in that school, we're going to take school packages. And in that year, you get to learn exactly what subjects leads to what kind of path in the future. And you have your advisors, academic advisors, you have your peers, you have your professors to walk you through the entire process of deciding a major. And you will be able to choose one that is suitable for you and best fit for you by the end of the first year. The top 0.5 to 1% domestic intake. So this is something what we're really proud of. So beyond international admission, obviously, vast majority of the students are made by Chinese local students. So we only recruit the top 0.5% to 1% of that population. So this means that it's actually really hard to get into CUHK-Shenzhen if you are a Chinese student. Globally recruited faculty. This is what I just mentioned, because we inherit the entire academic system from CUHK, including the quality assurance and the faculty recruitment standard. We recruit globally, but using the exact same CUHK faculty recruitment standard. This means that you're looking at a very multicultural, very diverse kind of faculty body, that the professors that are standing on the podium that is teaching you knowledges could be anywhere. It could be like Asian, could be like Black, could be any kind of race and ethnicities that you can think of. So we only recruit on the merit base. So there's really no other kind of variables that is standing in our way between us and the really great talents. And internationalization. This is something also is a highlight about CUHK-Shenzhen. Many of you may be looking forward to taking on an exchange program or taking on a summer internship somewhere else out of China, or obviously not in your own country. So the CUHK-Shenzhen offers a very comprehensive study abroad scheme and arrangements. And there, I'm going to get into the details about our international partners and all kinds of programs available to you. College system. College system is something that we inherit from CUHK. So it's kind of congenial kind of community. So every student, when they first become a CUHK-Shenzhen students, not only they belong to a specific school that takes care of the academic side of the business, but also they're given an identity of a college. So I'm going to the college takes care of your daily, for example, they have dorms in the college, you live in the college dorm, obviously. But there are also other activities. There's other activities and other interesting things that happens at the college level. So every CUHK-Shenzhen students, when they're trying to introduce themselves, they're not only introducing them as, hi, I'm a student of the School of Science and Engineering, but also at the same time, they're saying I'm from Shaw College or Harmonia College. So it's like two identity for one student. I'll get into the college system a little bit later.
Roxy.
Yes.
I was very impressed with the figures of top 0.5 until 1% of the domestic intake students. And you also mentioned that it's really hard for the Chinese local students to get admitted by CUHK-Shenzhen.
Yes.
Does it mean the local Chinese student can, if it's they admitted, it comes from the Chinese elite students? I mean,
yes.
If we are making comparison of this entry requirement, which China public university have the same entry requirement as CUHK-Shenzhen?
So we are pretty much it's a little bit hard to compare that, because we are a different kind of educational system versus comparing to other national universities in China. But if you have to, if you have to like, really put into that kind of perspective, in terms of domestic intake, we are pretty much targeting the same level of students that is targeted also by, for example, Zhejiang University in Hangzhou, and also Beijing Normal University in Beijing. There are other what we call competitors that we compete with in terms of domestic intake, but we are, but also, but this is roughly the level that we're looking at. Something that is really worth mentioning is that we are actually the hardest one to get in among all the 9 joint venture universities in China. We are a joint venture university, by the way. There are 9 of us across the entire China, and we are the hardest one to get in, which means that it's harder to get into us than get into, for example, what is that? Ningbo, Nottingham, something like that. And also Xijiao, Liverpool, something like that.
Xianjiao Liverpool.
Xianjiao Liverpool. So it's actually a little bit harder, actually not a little bit, actually very much harder to get into us than getting into those universities, similar university. And something also worth mentioning is that in some of the provinces, not all of the provinces, obviously, in some of the provinces, it's actually a little bit harder to get into CUHK-Shenzhen than getting into CUHK, by the way.
Wow,
so,
the CUHK Hong Kong, yeah?
Yes, so this, because CUHK also recruits in mainland China, so and they recruit in a little bit smaller number, I believe. But it's sometimes for the students we're looking at, it's actually harder to get into us than getting to CUHK if you look at the score, the entry score. So yeah, that would be. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, 100%. That is also, you mentioned about Zhejiang University in Hangzhou. It's already China public university top 5, That's, I mean, most of the Chinese university, Chinese local students dream if they can get into top 5 university in China, like Tsinghua, Beida, Jiaoda, Fudan, and Zhejiang also. Yeah, very interesting.
So should I continue?
Yes, please.
So a little bit, students were interested in what kind of like programs, or what kind of schools or subjects will be able to learn at with CUHK-Shenzhen. And these are the, I would say, 6 schools that we have. Starting from 2014, where this is the year when we're established, we started with only one school, the School of Management and Economics. And as we, progress, as we start develop along the years, and this year is our 8th year anniversary, by the way. And now we have 6 schools, including 1 school of music and school of medicine. So there are 24 undergraduate programs for international students to choose from. And there's also actually more graduate programs, postgraduate taught, and both taught and research postgraduate programs available. Something that I also want to put out there is, we developed this kind of like a fast track or expedited kind of a progress way from our undergraduate students to undergraduate programs to postgraduate programs. So which means that for CUHK-Shenzhen students, they have an advantage, or they have a simplified procedure just to go through in order to become a postgraduate student with CUHK-Shenzhen, by the way. So this is just something very, very new that we just recently set up the system this year. So if you want to, for example, if you really like CUHK-Shenzhen and enjoy our academic program at the undergraduate level, and if you want to pursue a postgraduate level or postgraduate degree within CUHK-Shenzhen, there's actually a way to do it. And these are the 24 undergraduate programs available for international students. And the one that is marked with gold or in yellow are our most popular majors. So as you can see, we are pretty rounded up, and also the university is developing very fast. We're adding new subjects every year under each school. So however, I think just like I mentioned in the very beginning, the highlights, students do not choose a major in the first year. They will have enough time to learn exactly all what this major is about, what this subject is about, and what will you be able to learn in the rest of the 3 years with each subject. Obviously, as you progress along to the year 3 or year 4, you have more subject related, more narrow kind of subject that you'll be able to take to instead of just having some foundational courses. So this SME and SSE, these are all the programs here. Historically speaking, we do have students do have preference in choosing, for example, School of Management and Economics and also there's a School of Data Science. These are the two most popular schools that we have, not only just among international students, actually among our own students as well. Something that we do when you choose a major on the second year, there's really no quota set. There's no requirements. You can just choose whatever you want. There's really no kind of like, for example, you have to be like you have to be a B+ student to choose a certain subject. We don't have that kind of requirement set off. It's just 100% of whatever you want to do, you can just choose it. Under the School of Humanities and Social Sciences, we do have students who are very interested in applied psychology, and School of Medicine. I do want to mention about the School of Medicine. So the School of Medicine is actually developed from what we call the School of Life and Health Sciences, CUHK-Shenzhen. So once we had the School of Medicine set up, I think it's last year, we kind of included the Life and Health Sciences school together. And however, only the international students can choose subjects that is listed under Life and Health Sciences. We actually have a clinical medicine major out there, but it's not really available for the international students, by the way. Just want to put it out there without any kind of confusion. The School of Music, we started off with the School of Music, I think it's last year. This is the second year. We do the intake, we do the student admission. We're looking at a very small number. I highly doubt there's going to be a lot of interest there, but just in case, this is because our School of Music is just started off and very small in scale and student number. So we're still going on the kind of apprenticeship type of education inside the School of Music, which means that each student is going to have a lot of attention in just for himself or for herself. So, back to the more popular subjects, such as data science and big data technology, computer science and engineering, and also under the SME, there's finance and global business studies. These are all the kind of subject that students are really, are interested at the very beginning. However, we do give you the space to explore around, and in case you find something more interesting to do, these are all up for your choosing.
It is nice to know that the student for the first year, they do for the general education under the school of the major that the students are chosen. But the thing is, student for the second year, can they jump? For example, if I study for first year at the school of SME, for example, School of Management and Economic, can I cross to SDS, School of Data Science, for example?
Yes, you can. So there's very specific requirements in the for under the registry office website that is set a very clear standard how you'll be able to transfer from one school to another. I think academically you have to have 3.0 above on the first year in order to do that transfer. There's 3 other requirements out there. You just need to fulfill one of them and you'll be able to, you're qualified and something like that. Yeah. So these are all the actually public information out there.
So for the first year, all the students will sit on the same class, yeah? No matter you come from SDS or SME or
not necessarily. Well, not necessarily. Each school has what we call the school package. So each school has a school package that was made by a combination of different courses. Obviously, for data science, for example, data science and science and engineering students, their school package will include, for example, math, chemistry, physics, and things along that line. For humanities and social science students, they may have something else out there. But I think they also have to do math as well. That's just basic. But there are other subjects they have to do, for example, English and things along that line.
Okay, thank you.
So maybe the college system. Yes. So I just mentioned about the college system. So each full-time students will be assigned to a college. I have to mention that you are assigned randomly. There's really no saying, hey, I want to go to Shaw College or I want to go to Shenzhen. No, there's really no choosing for you. It's totally up to us. So we just randomly arrange anyone, not only just international students, but the same goes to the domestic students as well, randomly assigned to one of the colleges. So this is a diverse kind of community where students are mingled with their peers and taught with the teachers and with people from different cultural and social backgrounds. And the best part about the college is not just a place where you can live together and create a kind of multicultural or cross-disciplinary kind of environment or a community, but also at the same time, this is where college level they have a lot of different cultural and social events. So and that is exclusively for the students of one specific college. So each college has their own kind of things that's going on. It's also, as you can see here, there are 5 colleges. Back in the days, we only have 4. So the newest one is the Ling College here. This is recently established. They're just going to put into use in the first year. This year is the first year that they put into Ling College. So each college can host roughly about 2,400 students in full capacity. But there's a different facilities that was included inside the college. But every college has obviously the dormitories. Each floor has the shared kitchen. There's laundry mat, and also there's other facilities such as gym, study room, even we have there's a billiard. I think there's a billiard, and there's one. I think at Diligentia there's even a professional recording studio out there. So each colleges has different set of facilities that were really interesting. There's like the yoga, dancing studio, meditation rooms, and things along that line. But it was pretty kind of interesting that because obviously each college has their own characteristics and they have their own set of of facilities and actual tangible places that offers to students to enjoy their life. So I think that will be the college system.
Roxy,
Yes.
Talking about the college system, it is very happy to know that CUHK adopts a college system. I mean, that means students not only pursue their academic degree only, but on the other hand, CUHK also cares about students' personal life, like you mentioned, refining characters and everything. Could you tell me more about this college activity and how does it implement to the students?
Mm-hmm. So there are many the activities, like I mentioned, could be academic or non-academic, like cultural and social activities. Usually the college invites speakers. It could be like domestic or international scholars, luminaries, artists, community leaders, business leaders, and people like that, and to host kind of events. The event format could be a forum, a seminar, workshop, tea gathering, and it could be like a party even sometimes. Yeah. And every year there's a for example for each college there's a huge event. It's an annual event called what we call the high table dinner, or we call the formal dinner, organized by every college. I mean, I can take the Diligentia College as an example. So these actually are all informations out on our website, available there. May I stop share and then just go through the website really quickly?
Sure.
So I'll take Diligentia College as an example. So these are if you're like curious about what kind of activities we host over here, there's under here college activities, and there's various activities, annual events. Here, for example, the orientation ceremony, the high table dinner, like I just mentioned, and what we call the Fenton Drama Festival is a specific one for Diligentia students. There are the other kind of activities are listed here. You'll be able to see there's like night talk, Zoom debate. There's a spring festival away from home, having fun at Diligentia Lantern Festival. So at each Chinese kind of, holidays or festivals or Christmas, every Christmas too, every college is going to organize those kind of events. There's also other featured programs where you'll be able to learn, for example, aerobic, courses and PE lessons, or this is for aerobic. This is Zumba class, by the way. It's like language, communications and art workshops and things along that line. These are all things that be able to find in each college, that the activities that was hosted before. In a nutshell, in college, this is we usually say that school is the daddy and the college is the mommy. So the mommy is the one that takes care of everything, and also to trying to really make sure that you enjoy your life, inside the college. And in terms of implementation, like Joko just mentioned, the implementation of the college, all kinds of activity is kind of naturally, all the colleges have their college office. So we're talking about a full team of staff that's specifically working on organizing those events and coordinating all those different activities. So we do have personnel on that. We're not just having teachers and wardens and also college masters there. We're having a team of people that is, 24/7 working on and thinking about brainstorming about, creating those kind of events for the students. In case you want to know about the physical facility, this is a 4-person dormitory, which is very standard for all the international and domestic undergraduate students. We don't really I know there's a lot of national universities in China where they take the international students away and put them into the same building and then let them have their own thing going on. This is not our style of doing things. We want our students to be treated equally on the same under the same kind of standard. And also, this is really good for students to really mingle with our local Chinese students. This is what we call the local integration, right? So regardless your personality or ethnicity or nationality, as long as you're undergraduate students at CUHK-Shenzhen, you're rendering to a college and rendering assigned to a full-person dormitory. This means that your dorm mates could be anywhere, not even could be any with all kinds of different cultural or with different hometowns and different countries, motherlands, to be honest. And also at the same time, maybe they're studying completely different subjects. So maybe you're science students, but you're living with a social science students or business students or English students. You don't really know. It's it's like a lucky draw.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, domestic and international, they live together. It is good also because a lot of parents and students concerned, if I'm going to China, taking bachelor degree and using English taught program, how about my progress in Chinese? I mean, with this kind of, mixing and mingle, I mean, for international students and domestic, that will be very good for them to practice the Chinese and, learn the culture and do a lot of communication.
Exactly. I think the best way to be exposed to really learn about certain culture is to really, in there and really, not just in your little kind of, bubble, but actually, go walk outside of that bubble and really talk to the local people. And these are, by living together is probably the quickest way to do so.
Yep.
In case of students who are interested in our current student body, we have a little bit over 8,000 students at the moment. Almost 6,000 of them are undergraduate students, and the rest are postgraduate students, including master's student and PhD students. And on the right-hand side, we have this kind of table. This is pretty much our plan. So we're looking at right now. We're right in the middle of 2022 to 2021 to 2025 here. So we're halfway there. So by 2025, we're looking at a student body of a little bit over 13,000 students. And by 2030, which is literally probably 8 years away, we're looking at 18,000 students. So this is our current student body.
Okay, this is the number of the student. Quite interesting, Roxy. Just short question that how many totals of international students, in school now?
At the moment?
Yes.
At the moment, we're a little bit under 500. So the percentage is at roughly about 5% to 6%-ish.
Wow. But I bet the Indonesian student is number one, right?
Yeah. And since you mentioned that, I think vast majorities are actually Asian students, to be honest. We do have here and there from other continents. I think we have French students and from students from Zimbabwe. I think that but they're very minor. They're definitely minorities. And since we're talking to Indonesian students in this video, maybe something good to know is that we have over 350 students actually are Indonesian students.
Wow.
So Indonesian student community is a huge it's very influential on our campus, by the way.
And next year we are looking for 500.
Yeah. So I think I'll go to the next one.
Yes.
Since I mentioned about internationalization, like I mentioned, internationalization is the key feature of CUHK-Shenzhen and that was supported by a lot of different facts and figures. So far, we have 127 international partners up to date, and you'll be able to see on different continents, we have different numbers of them. Because I used to work to manage the university, that's my previous position, that I managed the university's partnership with European partners. We have different features with different partners in different parts. So for example, for the European partners, a lot of students take the opportunity. There are many of the exchange programs, and the majority of the exchange programs are done with the European partners. So it will be very easy for you to actually find an exchange experience to take on the exchange program in Europe. With Americans, not only just the North, but also South American partners, is usually what we have the visiting programs, or we call, and also the progression programs. So we're going to get into those program type later. And also with Asian partners, actually a lot of our Asian partners our students are very interested in doing short-term, for example, summer internship or summer programs with Asian partners actually. So each kind of region has their own features in terms of like providing different opportunities for students to really, diversify their university experience in general. So something that is also worth mentioning is that over 60% of our students, this is what we call, this is undergraduate students, by the way, over 60% of undergraduate students are with credit-bearing overseas experience, which means that 60% of the students, before they finish 4 years with us to get a bachelor's degree, they actually study overseas through our programs.
Nice. Actually,
so
we got one student now is doing at the Erasmus, Holland, and one is in Korea.
In Korea, yeah. We have also, for example, on the right-hand side, this is Curie Lim. She's class 2023, and she's majored in professional accountancy, and she's actually now on an exchange program at Korea University in Korea. And on the left-hand side, we have different, like I mentioned, we have different study abroad programs of different types. This is a combined bachelor-master arrangement. Is the students can actually do the undergraduate program, the degree from us, and then kind of on the expedited way to progress into a master program with a partner university to get a master's degree. And these are usually done with our American partners, by the way, US and North America in general, usually Canadian and US partners. Exchange programs is what I just mentioned, usually done with European partners. There's a lot of opportunities out there. This also include what we call the global immersion programs, which are going to come back later. It's a little asterisk mark down there. Visiting programs and summer programs are usually done with, for example, US partners and also Asia Pacific partners. Summer programs are very short, usually just like 6 to 8 weeks-ish. Could be shorter even to 4 weeks, but it always happens in the summer. But visiting programs also happens during the semester, by the way. Something I think is really worth mentioning about the Global Immersion Program. This is actually specifically for SME students, School of Management and Economics students. This is for business students, by the way. There are 2 programs under the Global Immersion Program category. One is the Global Supply Chain and Logistics Management. This is a 3-party exchange program with Copenhagen Business School and University of British Columbia in Canada. So we are literally choosing like 15 students from each school, each university or each partners, and then put them into a 45 student cohort. And I think it's starting from the 3rd year, starting from the 3rd year, the 4th semester of the 3rd year started to rotate among these 3 different campuses, and the students return to their own home institution at the last academic semester, the fourth year, the spring term of the 4th year. So this is kind of like, it's like fixed, kind of structured in a way that once you're on the program, you'll be able to, for example, for this semester you're in CUHK-Shenzhen, for next semester you're going to Copenhagen, and then for that, the one you're going to Canada, something like that. And there's another one, this is also very new, is the Global Business Economic Program, specifically set up with Copenhagen Business School. So both CUHK-Shenzhen and Copenhagen Business School choose 10 students to form a cohort and spend 2 semesters together, one at each institution. So this is also a structured exchange. This is kind of like professional terminology out there, but it's literally an exchange that is fixed, that you have a very specific destination, you don't choose, you just go, something like that. A lot of students are interested in, okay, once, what happens to our alumni? Like what happens to our students when they graduate? I think a little bit different from, I think the interest will be a little bit different comparing to like for the international students and domestic students, because actually vast majority, over 70% of our domestic students are more interested in advance to more further studies to take on a graduate degree program outside of China. But as far as I know, international students are kind of equally interested in going to study abroad for a master's degree, as well as, you know, looking for employment. So I put the numbers out here. This is actually coming from our employment report in 2021. If you're interested in downloading that report, I can show you exactly how you'll be able to get there in a minute. But as you can see, for the, 70% of the students are on the further studies, like I just mentioned, and about 25%, a little bit over 25% of the students are going on a job engagement, which means they find employment. There's also gap year students out there, and students who actually start to become entrepreneurs and they start their own business, although in a very small number. And on the right-hand side, you'll be able to see that these are the companies that our students usually, you know, when they choose to, you know, get into the society, step into the job market and find a job. This is usually where they're looking at. As you can see, there are this professional consultancy companies and also high-tech companies like Tencent and Vivo and ByteDance. This is the mother company of TikTok, by the way, which is I know is very popular right now. And the annual salary for the class of 2021 is at 160,000 RMB, a little bit over that. This is if you're looking at this is actually a number in growing, because I think 2 years ago this number is a little bit 140,000. So every year we kind of like bump up a little bit in terms of our annual salary. This is an average, by the way. This is not the highest. This is the average. So also other interesting things you want to know that a little bit over 71% of the students who decide to enter the job market are usually employed by what we call the Fortune Global 500 and the China Top 500. So companies like that really like our students for many of the reasons. And one of them is that our students are educated in the kind of international kind of environment and international educational system. They speak really good English. They know how to, they're soft skill wise trained really well because they're living in a kind of in the college system where what we call the whole person education. So they usually are really easy for them to shine in a job interview and really easy for them to really secure a job, especially when they're competing with other, for example, the students from national universities in China. So in case that, and these are just the students who are pursuing further studies. Actually, more than 50% of students are, more than 70% of the students are actually entered into what we call the top 100 QS ranking universities. So it's very easy for our students to find a master's program that really want to take them. So in case you're interested in doing further studies in the future, CUHK-Shenzhen is definitely something that can it can offer you a really advantage point because you're already in there. It's also very easy for you to get used to those kind of educational system once you're in that master's degree program, right? Because it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it is a very nice figures of the annual salary of the fresh graduate, yeah, because it's over 1,600,000.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know what kind of company field will for student always ask will pay more?
Actually, the one that pays a lot is actually IT companies and high-tech companies as well as financial services. Okay. These are, for example, investment bank, something like something along that line. But surprisingly, recently we find that because we have a lot of English, humanities and social science English students actually were recruited as actually high school English teachers, and they're paid really well, by the way, because Shenzhen is very big on foundational education and what we call the K-12, right? Yeah. So for those students, they actually they find out that their salaries are extremely high if they find a job as an English teacher just teaching English in high school. So this is just for your information. But for those who are interested in more detailed figures, this is where I'll be able to tell you exactly where you can find our employment report. Let me just there's a student placement here, and it's called employment report. So every year we do an employment report. See here, 2021, 2020, 2019. So just give you an example of the 2021 version. It's at the very end. Here is the English version here. So these are all very detailed numbers, exactly what kind of industry were really popular among students, and also what kind of let me show you really quickly. Employment evaluation here. So it was analyzed by not only just the annual salary. So these are the annual salary kind of like detailed numbers. And also by employer types, as you can see, private companies and foreign invested companies are actually our students are very popular in that kind of category here. We do have small amount of students that go to government agencies, institutions, research centers, and we do have a small amount of students that go into the state-owned enterprises, which also pays really well, by the way. There are other, analysis of employment industries out here. As you can see, computer, internet, electronics are the largest one, followed by professional services, educations, and things along that line, and financing, banking as well. So in case you're interested in the entire report and the quality, this is where you'll be able to get the entire report for every year. From the first year we had students graduating from us, I think it's in 2018. Okay, so this back to the PowerPoints. So just to give you some kind of examples about our undergraduate students who graduated from us. This is Jake. Jake was graduated in 2021, which is last year. He used to be majored in computer science and engineering, and now he's working in Singapore. So, and also Yumi is actually graduated this year. She's majored in global business studies, and now she's doing a master's degree program with CUHK in Hong Kong, by the way. So these are kind of like common, student profile for our alumni or for our student who graduate from us. So I'll take the rest of the PowerPoint. So now by the time I think students and parents will be wondering, okay, how will be able to become a CUHK-Shenzhen student? How will be able to get in one of your programs? I'll leave that to Ms. Rosemary Bai to give the more detailed introduction.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Rose.
Okay, so if you are interested in applying to us, now I'll show you how. Please interrupt me, Joko, if you have any questions.
Sure.
Okay.
Like I always do.
Okay. Okay, first to mention that you can apply through Great Wall, and you can contact Joko. Okay, so we will start accepting applications for the 2023 intake from next month, September, and the application will go on until next May 2023. So you have plenty of time to decide which school you want to study at, and also to prepare your application materials. And you can hand in an application online through our international admissions website. But before you make a real application, I kind of suggest you read through our website carefully before you make an application, because you can read everything, every major under each school, as I shown here on the PowerPoint, like which subject you might be more interested, and if you want to know more about the majors, everything, the curriculum and everything. So once you have made up your mind, you can make an application. And as Roxy mentioned, in the first year, since you do not have a major, you can still choose your major at the end of your first year. So here, if you study all the possibilities carefully, then you give yourself more chances. First, when you make the application, and then after you enter the program, you can still kind of adjust your preferences. Okay. Any questions here, Joko?
I'm just adding something. More students can also contact us, Great Wall. We are happy to assist you with zero service fee. I mean, we can help you to all share the information, which is all already included in the website, or you can read it by yourself. But for the application progress and everything, we are happy and delighted to help all of students, and especially Indonesian students. Go ahead.
Yes, Great Wall is our trusted partner. Yes. Okay. And the application is completely free. It's online application. You do not need to pay anything to make an application. And also we have lots of merit-based scholarships available. By merit-based scholarships, I mean they're not financial aiding. Kind of you win these scholarships because you are excellent in your studies and you can demonstrate your academic abilities and potentials. And also on the screen, I have circled out the International Student and Graduate Admissions website, and you can kind of access from our webpage here. Now, requirements. Here I listed out some of the international standardized examinations, but also if you can just apply with your regular Indonesian high school transcripts. Just remember that when you do hand in an application, please upload the official documents. That means usually we expect your transcripts have a official school stamp on it or a headmaster's signature, depending on your school's style. It has to be official. And if it's not in English originally, suppose it's in Bahasa Indonesian, you have to translate it into English. And the English translation also needs to be approved by your school. And for all these information, you can find on the website. So there's no hurry to copy them down here. And also English requirements. You can sit IELTS or TOEFL. If you do IB, SAT, such international standardized examinations, then we do not require you to submit an additional English test result. So that's kind of okay. And here listed our tuition fees and normal regular expenses here you can expect at CUHK-Shenzhen.
It is very interesting. I was like stunned by the accommodation, which is only 1,200 RMB per year.
Yes,
And
yeah, it's very affordable.
It's not very affordable, it's very cheap. And I can state it that among those Chinese university, you are the cheapest.
Right.
Yeah.
It's actually a very nice living environment here. Although it's like a 4-person dormitory, but you have nice roommates.
Yeah.
And it's quite nice to live on campus, and you are close to everything, to the canteen, facilities, gyms, swimming pool, classrooms. Yes, and it's very cheap, as Joko said.
Yeah. Mention about canteen. I mean, students normally go to students' cafeteria, or you call it canteen. Does CUHK-Shenzhen provide halal canteen? I mean, for Muslim students?
Yes, we do. It's not like a separate canteen, but we have counters inside like a student canteen. Yes, you can have Muslim food.
Good.
Okay, now we can move on to the next slide.
Yes, please, Rose.
Okay, scholarships. So we offer lots of scholarships. Here we listed the university offers scholarships. We also have government offers scholarships. And please note that the selection of the scholarships will be based on your English ability, your academic performance during high school, and other elements as well, such as your interview performance and your character and everything. So the evaluation is not based on a single element. It's kind of based on many factors, elements. It's like an overall evaluation of yourself, your application, your character, and everything. And the scholarship, the entry scholarship, will be provided for 4 years, but you have to maintain your GPA above 3.0 during your study here.
Okay, talking about scholarship, this is the most favorite part for students and parents, Rosemary.
Yes.
What is honor scholarships?
So honor scholarship is the highest scholarship we offer at university, and it contains full tuition, full accommodation for 12 months a year, and also it gives you a monthly based living allowance at school.
Okay, that means student only for international students, especially Indonesian students, just buy a ticket from Jakarta to Shenzhen and then go ahead for 4 years.
Yes, yeah, you kind of buy your own flight tickets and then you're here, everything's free.
All right.
Yes, you have to pay some maybe textbooks and maybe you need to buy coffee, but still if kind of because you have a living allowance. Yeah. So if you live like modestly, still you can afford to be here.
Nice.
Honor scholarship is super, super competitive.
Yeah, but yeah, we need quality students. I mean, like to get scholarship.
Yes.
I mean, how well does a student need to perform? I mean, in high school to win, let's say, full scholarship.
Full scholarship, full tuition scholarship.
Yeah.
It's you have to study hard for it. Yes, it's kind of like we do not set like a fixed quota every year for it. So as long as you meet our requirements, you can get the full tuition scholarship. Yes, we expect you to be really in the top of your class, and also you have to demonstrate your academic potentials. So there are students who are good at studying, we call it, like good at studying, but not really, how to say, like not participating in context or extracurricular activities. So if you do have, yes, if you have other club activities, show your potentials in universities, it's also helpful.
Nice. Well, like talking the scholarship, CUHK-Shenzhen for high school students, do you have like special subjects that you focus during the high school? Which subject?
Yes. As Roxy mentioned earlier, since the first year, we do not have a major, like students can study freely. It's more like you need like a clear planning to think about your interests, your potentials. And then in high school, because some schools you might do elective courses, subjects, but for some schools you have to follow a fixed curriculum and you cannot make your own like selection of courses. So first of all, you have to study everything compulsory subjects well, including science-based subjects and humanities-based subjects. And if you can select any courses in high school, you can select the ones that are related to your future majors.
Exactly.
For example, if you're interested in computer science, then perhaps if you can do elective courses in high school, you can select something related to IT, programming, or you can participate in extracurricular activities related to programming. So that means you can demonstrate your potentials in this major when you make your application. Yeah.
Okay. The scholarship, very nice, will be provided for 4 years. And talking about GPA, maintain always must be, each year must be above 3.0.
Yeah.
Rosemary, do you have any like tips how for future students, how to maintain the GPA 3.0 in general?
Right. From my observation, like many students have their own success tapes, but generally speaking, I think from high school to university, you kind of experience a huge difference in your lifestyle and thinking style. So here, I think, first of all, self-discipline is a very important key character, because after you enter university, all of a sudden you find yourself with so much freedom, and you have to manage lots of possibilities, and you have to manage lots of distractions. As Roxy mentioned, you have so much fun on campus, like lots of culture activities, and even in the city, lots of going on, but you have to make a decision, whether you sit in the library in the study or you go out for a party at night. So time management skills are very important. And also, a little bit different from high school, you kind of need a motivation inside yourself. Like you might, like the teachers, the professors only teach you the guidelines of the subject. You have to explore yourself deeper. And then sometimes you have to decide which direction you are going further. And thirdly, I think teamwork spirit. Because at CUHK-Shenzhen, you do lots of presentations in English. So you have to work with your classmates, team members, and that means you have to accept opinions, different personalities from different culture backgrounds, family backgrounds. You kind of need to be broad-minded, having a big heart, kind of to accept different opinions and everything. Yes.
Wow, very nice. The tips. It's like you being like want to be being a student. Okay, thank you. Yeah, very nice tips. See, greater, so you have to do the most important is self-discipline, because once you're there, no parents, no families, no nothing. You just decide what you have to do. It's the decision is on yours. I mean,
Yes. You can always talk to the professors or senior student members that you can kind of seek advice and help everything. So you are not alone, but you have to be independent.
Okay. And also it's good that CUHK-Shenzhen also adopt the college system, you know.
Yes, you have like lots of people, advisors, even from the college side to talk about. So from the college, mostly you can talk about your personal private life, any difficulties you have living in the dormitory. But from the schools, you have advisors more like along the academic line. You can talk about the selection of courses, and if there's anything in your program that you want to discuss with them. So try to seek help, but also try to be independent.
Yeah. So school is like Papa, and then college is like Mama. But don't
Yes.
worry, Indonesian students. You have a lot of Indonesian students there, so you don't feel alone, and you feel like a family in a good situation, a good quality education of CUHK-Shenzhen. That's atmosphere and also the environment can bring you all the success for your students, for your studies. Okay.
Yes. Oh, and here we have another slide. It's just to show you what the international application website looks like. And here you can see on the dashboard, apply course and scholarships, every details here on the presentation. If you haven't got it on your paper, on your notebook, you can still look at the website for details. Okay, and I think we are approaching the end of this presentation.
Yes. Okay.
If you have any other problems, questions for me and Roxy, feel free to ask us.
Okay. Actually, the question is already throughout the PPT, though. I mean, a lot of students and parents, most common frequent questions I already asked here during the PPT. But yeah, you can stop the share the PPT, please. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for Roxy and Rosemary for your wonderful presentation. It was very informative, packed, and also a lot of tips, you know, doing the study and everything. And we believe that creators out there, I mean, get more understanding about the CUHK-Shenzhen and also some majors like some schools and how do they approach with the international students, the facility and everything. Especially also the scholarships, yeah, with the strong information and everything. We hope for the intake next year, 2023, we can recruit more Indonesian students. I mean, good quality students, not only number of students, but all the number and also the quality of students, of Indonesian students can come to CUHK. And actually now CUHK already preparing, inviting students, international students, especially Indonesian, to study offline this year. Okay. Yes. Great job. Okay. So next year, yeah, it's happening. Okay. Well, okay. Thank you so much for your support, Roxy and Rosemary. We are looking forward.
Thank you for inviting us.
Well, creators, this is the end of our today's info session. If you like this video, don't forget to share and press the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you again in our next video. Bye bye. 再见.
See you. Bye.
Bye. 再见.